Welcome to Flamp Flamp Sports. My name is Richard Harris, and let's talk sports. Welcome to Flamp Flamp Sports 2017. My name is Richard Harris. Back to the grind in terms of trying to blog, trying to do things that I love to do. And we come right out the gates with a topic that will be discussed a lot this week, being that it's Super Bowl week, involving one of, if not, the greatest quarterback in the history of the game, one Thomas Brady. Today, I'm going to tell you why, for me and most of my generation, we're still Montana guys. So let's make it simple. First of all, Tom Brady's had an amazing football career. He has found lightning in a bottle. He has been in the right place at the right time, right coach. And yes, if you're saying he's the greatest quarterback of all time because he's taken virtual no-name receivers, tight ends, running backs, and made them millions of dollars and made them stars, made the Patriots champions, you would be 75% right. Because if you've noticed, in all of Tom Brady's Super Bowl victories, Patriots don't blow anybody out. They beat the Rams by 3. They beat the Eagles by 3. They beat Carolina Panthers, you guessed it, by 3. And the Seahawks Super Bowl, they won 28-24 because of a boneheaded play by the Seahawks. To me, the reason why Montana reigns supreme, I'm going to equate it to other sports and hope you can follow. 2 weeks ago, the Baseball Hall of Fame was inducting its players, talking about who should be a Hall of Famer, and they brought up a guy by the name of Tim Raines. Tim Raines, for my money, was a good player. Not a Hall of Fame player, but he was a good player. He was a base stealer. He was a great singles hitter. And basically, because he played in Montreal, no one saw him. And they were debating about why he has had such a hard time getting Hall of Fame, considering his numbers compared to Tony Gwynn, compared to Rickey Henderson, with, of course, the exception that those guys had over 3,000 hits. Tony Gwynn won 9 batting crowns, 8 batting crowns. Rickey Henderson was just Rickey Henderson. And the reason why I bring that up is Tom Brady, as great a player as he has been, has no moments like Tim Raines. If you look at Tim Raines' career, what is his big moments? Maybe a pinch hit in a World Series game. Maybe a pinch hit in a playoff game for the Yankees. But as an Expo, when he made his name, nothing. He stole a ton of bases. But did he take over a playoff series like Rickey Henderson did? Like Kenny Lofton would do? Rickey Henderson would A, lead off a game on a home run, or B, steal second, steal third, and get home on a sac fly and disrupt the entire game plan. Ask the Oakland A's Toronto Blue Jays series. Rickey was sensational. Tim Raines has no moments, and therefore it becomes kind of forgettable. And on the same vein, you could look at Tom Brady when you compare him to Montana, And you compare him to even John Elway. I'm not even the biggest Montana fan, but I can give you at least 6 moments in Joe Montana's career that you don't forget, or that anyone who remembers his career will remember. Number one, the catch. How about number two? How about the drive against Cincinnati, 90 yards to beat them to win the Super Bowl with 16 seconds on the clock? Giant fans can remember. How about the 3rd down and 17 with 48 seconds to go, throwing an 80-yard bomb to Jerry Rice to win that game? How about, to me, the greatest football game ever played by a quarterback against the Eagles when Montana was sacked 9 times, to the point where the coach was like, I'm about to put Steve Young back in because I don't want him to get hurt because he's getting the crap beat out of him. And he throws 4 touchdown passes in the 4th quarter to beat the Eagles 38-28. How about the first half of that Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos? I mean, I'm not even blinking, and I'm just coming up with moments. How about the game where the Niners had won 15 straight road games, and they were playing against Cincinnati, and Cincinnati, for some reason, instead of punting, decided to go for a thing and they could run the clock out, and it left 1 second on the clock on the 20-yard line, and he hit Jerry Rice for a game-winning touchdown with 1 second on the clock from the 20-yard line with 1 play to go. These are signature, unbelievable moments. What do you think of when you think of Brady? The Tuck game? You may think of epic battles against Peyton Manning, but those games, there were no moments in those games. Those games were more about Belichick than they were about Brady. In fact, I remember one game in the championship series between those two where Brady drove for a touchdown, and it was Manning's turn to drive back. And Manning hit a 20-yard pass for a first down and got called. Somebody on their offensive line, Jeff Saturday, I believe, got called for a fictitious holding call that made it from being 1st and 10 to 2nd and 18, and that was a wrap. Brady deserves tons of credit for being a quarterback that has made names of guys like Chris Hogan, made names of guys that we never heard of, made them stars. In fact, Brady's best Super Bowl, he wasn't even named MVP. That award went to the receiver against Carolina. But he made guys like Troy Brown special. The year he and Randy Moss combined for 50 touchdown passes. It was insane. And it showed that if he had a special talent, that he could be special. But he didn't win the chip that year. My G-Men did. But Montana has moments that stand out in NFL lore. And that is why, for me, he will always be the best quarterback in the history of the game. Because not only did he do it in the biggest games, he did it in the biggest moments. You can even throw John Elway in that. Elway has the drive. Elway has the dive, where against the Packers to win his first Super Bowl, diving down to the goal line. Elway has drives in games where his first game was as a starting quarterback. He was down 21-0 and he rallied to beat a team. Or his games where the game against Kansas City when it was 3rd down and 17 from the 8-yard line and he hit a 60-yard pass which led them to victory in Kansas City, a place they hadn't won in a long time. Montana versus Elway, that Monday night game where Montana, after Elway had drove Denver down the field for a win, and then Montana came back under a minute to go and beat Elway in Mile High Stadium. But Dan Dieter said, "Oh God, you can take me now." Those are reasons why my generation hold on to Montana. It's like comparing Michael and LeBron. LeBron's been in 7 straight NBA finals. But LeBron has no moments because all his moments in those games, he passes the ball off to Ray Allen for the big three. He gives the ball to Kyrie last year for Kyrie to do his thing in the fourth quarter to lead them to victory. Yes, he had that block, and that is a moment. But what did Michael do in the finals? Michael hit 6 threes in the game. How many moments can you remember of Michael Jordan? And that's why we don't let go of Michael Jordan. 63 in a loss to the Celtics. People forget in that game, they had a chance to win the game with a jump shot and missed it. First time playing in Madison Square Garden as a Bull. Went for 50 against the Knicks. People remember his moments. Brady has nothing to remember us by. All Brady has is victories that people will say half of them are his and half of them are Belichick's. So that is why we still take Montana. I'm thinking hard about Brady. I'm thinking about what games Brady has had that has defined him, as opposed to games that define Elway, that define Montana. And the reality is, Tom Brady has none. That's just one man's opinion.